Hello everyone, welcome back to our weekly market analysis video with me, Frankie, your market analyst at Markets4U. In today's video, we'll be looking at the key economic events and data releases from July 14th to July 18th, 2025. I've already set up my screen to display the economic calendar from the traders room at Markets4U. I've set the dates from July 14th to July 18th, covering this week's important events in GMT. Please remember to adjust to your respective time zones. Let's dive into this week's events. Monday we don't have any notable events, so we go straight to Tuesday. Tuesday starts with Australian consumer confidence and Eurozone industrial production, followed by crucial US inflation figures including core and headline inflation rates, New York Empire State Manufacturing Index, and Canadian inflation data. Wednesday brings UK inflation figures including core and headline inflation rates, US Producer Price Index data, industrial production, and Japanese trade balance and export/import figures. Thursday features Australian and UK employment data, followed by US Philadelphia Fed Manufacturing Index, retail sales, and initial jobless claims. The day concludes with Japanese inflation figures. Friday concludes with US building permits, housing starts, and Michigan consumer sentiment data. This week's key market-moving events will be Tuesday's US inflation data and Wednesday's UK inflation figures. Both releases are closely watched by their respective central banks and could provide significant direction for monetary policy expectations. Now, let's go to the technical analysis. This week, we'll focus on the US dollar against the Japanese yen and the British pound against the US dollar, as both instruments face crucial inflation data that could drive significant movement. Let's start with the US dollar against the Japanese yen. Looking at the daily chart, the dollar-yen pair is currently trading around 147.44, showing signs of consolidation after recent volatility. The pair is trading above the 20-day exponential moving average, the white line, which is acting as dynamic support, with the price action suggesting potential for continued upside momentum. Looking at important levels, the dollar against the yen has support at 145.98 and 144.19, while resistance stands at 148.67 and 150.30. The price is currently positioned between these key levels, with the stochastic oscillator indicating potential for continued momentum. Tuesday's US inflation data will be crucial for this pair's direction. Core inflation is expected to rise to 2.9% from 2.8% year-over-year, while headline inflation is forecast to increase to 2.5% from 2.4%. Any surprise in these figures could trigger substantial movement, especially given the current bullish positioning above the moving average. Now, let's turn to the British pound against the US dollar. On the daily chart, the pound-dollar pair is currently trading around 1.3486, showing some consolidation after recent moves. The pair is trading below the 20-day exponential moving average, the white line, which is now acting as dynamic resistance. The pair appears to be testing lower levels after previous strength. Looking at important levels, the pound against the dollar has support at 1.3382 and 1.3252, while resistance can be found at 1.3615 and 1.3752. The price is currently testing the area near the first support level, with the stochastic oscillator suggesting potential for further movement. Wednesday's UK inflation data will be the most significant event for this pair, with core inflation expected to rise to 3.6% from 3.5% year-over-year, and headline inflation forecast to increase to 3.5% from 3.4%. These figures will be closely watched for signals about future Bank of England policy direction. Tuesday's US inflation data will also impact the pair, as it affects the US dollar side of the equation. Both instruments could see considerable volatility this week. Traders should be particularly cautious during Tuesday's US inflation release and Wednesday's UK inflation data, as these events can cause sudden movements and potential technical breakouts. Remember, always manage your risk carefully and never invest more than you can afford to lose. That's it for this week's analysis. See you in the next video.